So hi everyone, welcome back to Brookvalleylife and Brookvalley Archery, part 2 of building the bow press. Now in the last video we did, I made this. I've put everything out and all painted, everything's ready to go, and in this video what we're going to be doing is putting it together. Once we've put it together, we're going to put a bow in it and actually show you how it works. And then I will break down how much this has actually cost me, and is it really viable? Are you going to save a lot of money, or is it worth just splashing out? Here in New Zealand they're 1,500 New Zealand dollars, so that's about £750, or what, 900 United States dollars just for a bow press. Now this thing will go between about 30 inches to about 42, maybe more, maybe out to even bigger. I can always adjust it so I can do smaller ones, and I can always make another press to do smaller bows if I ever got smaller bows. So yeah, stay with me. Let's go and see me putting this together, see if it's viable to build yourself. Is it worth it? And does it actually work? Let's go and have a look. And yes, I am leaning. Hello. What? How am I supposed to do anything with you coming in, making all that noise? Quite finished? Bye-bye. Welcome back to the channel, and today I am going to be building a bow press for a compound bow that I've purchased. Now the reason why I'm making it and not buying it, because the bow presses here in New Zealand are few and far between, and that the ones they do sell, even if they've got them in stock, are about $1,500 Kiwi. So that's about $1,400 Australian, or let me just check this, 220. So we'd be talking about 800 US, and then half that for British pounds, so what's that, 1,500, 750. So it's quite a lot of money. So I decided, well, I'm sure I can find some plans. No, I couldn't really find any plans online. However, I did look at some things and thought it can't be that difficult to build. Now I have seen some that are made just from bits of wood. However, I thought I want to make a decent one, make it out of metal. I can use my welder. And no, I am not a welder. I'm an engineer, yes, but I'm not a welder. I'm a fitter and turner. So some of this stuff I did actually have to turn down some bar. Apart from that, everything else straight out the packet, welded it, cut it with a grinder, and just cleaned it up, and this is what we've got. So I've got a nice shiny blue 2 bits of metal, and it's 50mm by 50mm by, I think it was 3mm tube for 1 bit. Then I welded on a couple of legs, couple of legs, and then some flat bar on the bottom so I can hold it down. Now if I do make up a workbench, I can actually bolt it into it, even better. But this, yeah, it's solid, it's not going to go anywhere. I can put a bow in there and it's going to be fine. What's going inside? 40 by 40 tube again, and at one end I've welded a nut, and I also welded some pads just so it didn't flop around inside. And on each of the arms coming off, I'll put a bracket where the fingers are going to sit. Now the fingers are the only thing that I actually purchased online, and these were, I think, the most expensive things, and these were 133 New Zealand dollars. I'll do a breakdown of how much it costs, but the first thing I'm going to do is put everything together and yeah, see how we get on. So first things first, I've got a M20 threaded rod. I welded a nut on, I bought some nuts, and I turned the end down to 12mm to fit a handle and also for it to sit into a flange. Now the reason why I've put this on here is so it won't push through this end when you unwind it or when you wind it up. It just stops it going backwards and forwards. It stays in position, which is cool. So first things first, we put this up the inside. In fact, the first things first, I take a washer. I'll put a washer on there. Put it up, and at the end here I have a little hole where it goes through, and it gets to a point just there. So I've got this amount sticking out. I then take my flange. I bought this off RS Pro here. It's a 12mm diameter bearing flange with a grease nipple, so I can actually grease this to make it run smoother, and this slides on the end. And what I can actually do is on the end there's some grub screws that I can actually put the grub screws on so it doesn't want to move. So let me just check where I've got these. So there and there. So what I'll do is I'll just put these grub screws in quickly. There's one. Put that in. And this just holds it firmly and doesn't allow it to spin off. Okay, that's all on. Now I bolt my flange on, and I've just got some, I think these are M10 with spring washers and a bolt. Real simple. So I just put it through, put a spring washer on, and the nut. So they're all nice and tight. Next we come with a handle, and this handle's quite good because I can stow it in or I can have it out and I can move it like that. Again, I've drilled a little hole and put a grub screw, tapped it and put a grub screw in. Pretty simple, it just fits on. There we go. Nice and tight, pretty simple, and it can't move in or out, solid. Next bit, we take our big long rod, and what we need to do now is screw it on. So you may wonder how long this is. This bit here, 29 inches. Or 73 centimetres. This is also 29 inches. So I can go down to about a 30-inch bow. And it's as simple as that. There is the basics set up. Now, fingers. These fingers, as I said, I purchased these myself. You can make them, but there's a lot of time and effort going into it. Buying the metal, welding them together, or cutting it, and I thought, let's just buy a set. These come from Toe Point. I've got a Toe Point bow. this should work. So I've also got some nylon washers. So let us open up my nylon washers. Take a couple of these out. This is what these long bolts and nuts for. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'll do, and now we have a bow press. Yeah, I'm quite surprised myself that it's come out quite well. This is my first attempt at ever doing one like this. Yes, the welds could be better. Yeah, I could have worn up some plans and put it all into SketchUp and all up here. However, we need to see if this thing works. But before we do that, let me go through the price of this setup. So, to buy a bow press like this, that'll do a 40-inch bow down to a 30-inch bow, I would be looking possibly 1,500 New Zealand dollars. What this has actually cost me to build myself. So let's go through this. The metal, yeah, tubular steel that I had to order from Auckland. I could have gone to some places here in Nelson, but I went there instead, and I paid $59 Kiwi dollars for the metal I used. Threaded rod, I think, was $20. What else? Flat bar that I've used as well. All came, that was within the $59. What else we got? The flange and the handle from RS came to, I believe it was $91. This is all New Zealand dollars. Most expensive was these other bits, which were $133. That was the fingers. They were the most expensive bits. Everything else, cheapest chips. So overall, for a fully completed and painted, that includes the paint that I got from Bunnings, which is a Dulux Duramax enamel. Nuts and bolts, everything you can see on here, everything came to 373 New Zealand dollars. So I've saved myself $1,130. That's enough to go and buy another compound bow if I wanted to, or some new limbs or stuff like that. But 373 New Zealand dollars for what you can see here, everything. That is 166 Great British pounds. Don't know what you pay for your things in the UK, but just to show you, can be done. US, $220. Now I know you can pick up some cheap ones in the US, but again, 220. If you can beat that by buying it from a shop, let me know. Euro, for all of you guys in Europe, 195 euros. And Australia, all our friends over the ditch here, Australian is 343 Kiwi dollars. Sorry, Australian dollars. So as you can see, by building this myself, I've saved a lot of money. So let me go and get one of my compound bows I've got, and we'll see if it fits and if we can actually press it. So here we have my cheap Junksing Phoenix. I think it's a 38 axle to axle bow. So as you can see, it needs to come out a bit. So let's give this a go. Let me know if there's anything you would do as well with this. Just thinking about it, what I might do is just put a measurement on here as well. fits so far. Let's just give this a quick press and see what happens. Seems to be holding quite nicely. Pushing up. This is loose. So I can do what I need to do with that. Yeah, that's nice and loose. It works. What are your thoughts? I'm quite impressed with this. Can do whatever I need to. The cables, the main string. And this is with a cheap bow that's my toe point, the limbs are more parallel, so that makes it good. So I've just, as I say, saved myself just over 1,100 Kiwi dollars. That's nearly over £500, and yeah, so that is, do it up, do it down. Take it out. Everything's still good. There we go. Yep. That works. So there we have a homemade bow press made by yours truly. Yes, there is some welding you have to do, lots of grinding, especially if your welds are as good as mine. Fingers, you can make them or buy them. I bought them just to make things easier for myself. A couple of things that I've added extra, like this flange on here. It doesn't have to be there. You can put a handle straight on to the shaft itself, but as long as you weld a nut on the inside or or pin it, then this rod can't move backwards and forwards. That's the thing I couldn't get through my brain to begin with. But here we go. First of the tools for your archery den bow press, especially you guys with compounds. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is a draw board and a new string jig. Got all the bits ready to go. I've just got to start making them. This is what I've been waiting to make, and everything's good. So hope you've enjoyed this video of me building this for not even a third of the price. Yeah, quarter of the price, less than quarter of the price than a shop bought one. Anyone in New Zealand, yeah, hit me up if you want one, and we can see what we can do. All you compounders out there, so you can have your own at home bow press to do all your work on. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like, subscribe, everything else YouTube wanted to do. Keep shooting, it's the only way you're going to get better. I've been shooting this morning, and I will catch you next time. Bye bye for now.